I had to look up what Secum meant. I didn't know what Secum meant. Do you know what
Oh
Secum
yeah,
means?
it's the Archangel of Ravages.
It's no, but like no, like what the actual word means. Like where
I
the
have no idea.
oh
It's
well
just Ravages to me.
well speaking of that, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Pitting as a live Flesh and Blood college show where frick, I had something written and then I didn't write it. I'm William Table and Legs and I'm joined by my constant co-host Kevin
Wait.
Smurf Murphy. Kevin, what's up? Uh no, what actually is up? How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm tired. I think I'm gonna. I have another video out Saturday. Is
Yeah.
the plan? I thought I would be recording it today, and then I did rehearsal, like a quick run through, and I'm like, nope,
Mhm.
it's not ready. I need to fix this. Um, so it'll go up while I'm playing a team Win-A-Box event. That's an hour from me.
Heck yeah.
Oh, hey Tim,
Oh.
do you and the Roanoke crew want to play a Win-A-Box on Saturday?
Yes.
I have a team already because
Oh.
because Sprinkle and Brendan asked me to team with them,
Oh.
and we could have had a full Prism trio
That
if
would
they
have been
would have let
funny.
us.
That's
But,
funny.
but
That's
they're
actually
not
really
gonna.
funny. All right, shout out
But
to Jordan and Josh and Scat in chat and Clark
Scat.
for listening because they said that they weren't going to be able to call in, but they can definitely listen, and I really appreciate that because specifically this is a call-in show. If you'd like to be on air talking to us about your hot take, you can put the take in the Discord, which is linked below, and if we like your take, we can pull you on air and talk to you live right now about all that has been transpiring. Or you can put the take in chat, you can put the take in the comments, or you can just leave it on the Discord. I can bring it up later. And first things up, we had a we got another we got news from LSS. I was thinking article. That was the word I was looking for. We got another article from LSS. A
Okay.
pretty big one, eh? Right? That's since
Uh,
last Thursday.
with
Yeah.
is this the BNR?
Yes, we got a ban and restricted
Okay.
under the articles. Dude, I am at a loss for. Ooh, and I said I was gonna stay up
All
all
right.
night
We
for this
we got
stuff.
this. We got
Okay,
this.
go
We got
ahead. Go
this.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. We got this.
So we got a BNR.
Um,
We got a BNR.
so yeah, so CC every format, every 1v1 format got bans or cards moved around, I think.
Oh
Um
yeah, you know what? I think every
because
official
Blitz had
format
bans, Commoner had bans, LL had bans, and CC had bans. So every 1v1
all
supported
regulated, supported formats.
formats
Yeah.
got hits. Commoner is easy, Reality Refractor is banned, thank goodness.
Finally, finally,
It should have
finally.
gone with the other weapons that they banned. Um, LL's a real format now. Oh my goodness.
It changed a lot.
It changed so much.
It changed so
Oh
much.
my god, they banned Crown of Seeds.
We didn't have to bring that one up. Just make me cry right here.
Bro, okay, you
Dude,
had sold
okay,
out of
okay,
Guardian.
but
Go.
like, are these the first L's that got banned? Because we had a weapon banned.
In Living Legend, yes.
Yeah. So these are the first pieces of equipment banned in Living Legend.
But yeah, the first like one where like really
Yeah.
like kind of upends the format in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Where it's like Kraken's Aether Vein was like, yeah, you should ban that. That's just not
Oh yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that
Yeah, that
shouldn't be a thing.
it was insane.
But like this is where they like really changed the way heroes
Hmm.
work. Because this is like Starvo is a fundamentally different deck. Oldhim is just dead.
Poor Oldham. Like, if you want
I
to play
think
Oldham,
Oldhim's
you play.
just dead.
You just play Florian. Florian's Oldham now.
Yeah, you just play stack Florian.
Which is kind of
Um,
fine.
yeah.
Um,
And then Chain got kneecapped.
yes. So going through Living Legend, Carrion Husk banned, Crown of Seeds banned, Cull restricted, Deadwood Dirge restricted, Succumb to Temptation restricted, Hypothermia restricted.
Unrestricted.
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 Can't get it past
Very important.
See, Oldham's back. Oh.
No.
No.
That's an Icelander change.
That is an Icelander change. Yeah. Chain absolutely gutted, kind of like Starvo was. Not last BNR where they hit LLs,
in the
but
first LL.
Yeah, in the first one.
Change. Yeah.
Where they were adding in restrictions.
I mean, this is obviously a pretty big nerf to chain, where in particular RuneGate chain, because you lose five Deadwood Dirges, so you can't play RuneGate chain, and you're down to one call, but you can still play like Funeral Moons and Requiems and Eloquent Eulogies for Tome. So you're just kind of like Boomer chain, but slightly better.
Yeah.
You just don't have triple call to be obnoxious.
You still have one call. And still have one succumb.
You have one call.
Which that card's...
And you have one call and one succumb. And both those cards are still very good. And the succumb is still like you have half of it because there's a 50-50 chance you banish it.
Yeah.
But the call is like you're going to get your one call out of the game, which is like still very good.
Yes.
It's just not triple call, which was just messed up. And Husk being banned is probably the biggest nerf. I guess aside from Deadwood Dirge, but like carrying Husk being gone of just like your first on hit is just negated.
Yeah,
no
that card's
longer
crazy.
There.
Yeah.
So
Levia nerfs.
I'm very excited for LL, especially with it being at Worlds.
Oh yeah, so that's like the big thing, and maybe like the reason why we're bringing it up first is
and
LL
PQs.
Is going to be on PQs, yes, which probably affects me more. But actually, no, it affects me more in both ways as a spectator, which I think is important.
Sure.
LL, off format at Worlds, 3 format, LL, CC, draft. Oh, it's so good. Oh, man.
I'm very happy with this. We've been asking. I know a lot of pro players or like top players have been asking for this for a while. And I think Runaways had an apt comparison, which this is no longer the vintage or legacy format. This is the modern.
It's modern.
Format.
And it might feel different the more... It might feel different in different... I was thinking it might feel different after different ban lists or whatever. Like, if everything else starts building up around Chain and Starvo... Chain and Starvo could just get some cards unrestricted, and then it goes back to feeling super silly. I don't think that'll be the case, but it could be the case.
I don't think so. I think some of these cards are just like too degenerate to.
Oh, Tim, don't say
really
that.
Balance a format around. No, it's gonna be. There's no
it's
way.
Gotta
it's
be
gonna
three
be
format.
2 format, and there's no draft.
It's got to be 3.
It's gonna be 3 format. It's just how many rounds of each.
Draft is still. Draft is still larger than LL in general, right? Just as a format.
I don't know. It's close.
It is. It's got to be close.
We'll see on that one. I assume it's going to be 3 format still. They don't want to cut draft out of this game unless set 17 or the next set after High Seas is weird and not draftable or is like actively a bad draft experience that they weren't happy with.
I'm happy to announce today that at the 2025 World Championship in Philadelphia, Living Legend will be one of the formats used to determine our champion.
Yes. Will be one of the formats.
One of the 3
Which
formats,
then also,
please.
You can expect more LL events on the calendar, including the format's first inclusion in a PQ season, which is not to say that it is the PQ season.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some people saying that it will be the PQ season and then the PT will be LL, which is not necessarily how I read that, where it's like maybe LL is half of a PT, or is might be the constructed format alongside draft, or they use the same structure as Worlds or something like that. But I'm excited for LL to be a PQ format because that means LL armories are going to happen, which means LL becomes an actual format that people play.
Yeah.
Not just that.
4 formats.
Smash Palace. Go. LL draft. I could see that as well, but I think the PT then is also LL draft, which I'm down for.
If it's
I'm
LL
okay with
draft,
that.
that's so crazy.
Yeah,
Like just
stuff
peak.
starts getting weird
Yeah,
with
because
armories
you are
at that point.
basically telling people they have to play LL in some cases. Not that
Yes,
they do, but like frick.
which I don't know if the game is quite big enough for that yet. It
This
depends
would
on your area.
this would
Like
make it.
we we have I have 6 armories a week that I could go to, and if one or two of them became LL, I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah,
I would have been fine with that before,
yeah.
but it would need to be for anyone who's trying to compete
As
in that pro tour.
as someone who has two local armories, if one was CC and the other was rotating LL draft, or they were both
Yeah,
CC that would rotate LL and draft, that would be awesome. Currently, they're just hard stuck CC because that's what people want to play. That's how people get into the game.
yeah.
Honestly, there's different avenues to getting your first cards in your hand. But when you are
Yeah,
becoming invested in the game, you just play CC, and so to get people to butts and chairs, you play CC.
those are the cards you spent big money for,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which I guess do we want to talk about how they're addressing that too of you spending money on a CC deck
Yeah. Go ahead.
with the changes to the LL system?
Oh, frick. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, all right, where are we going from here? But yeah, that is absolutely it.
I figured it out.
Do we want to wait and go over the rest of what looks like their band?
Yeah, we can quickly touch the rest of it, which is like Blitz is busted cards are banned in
Well,
CYB,
yeah,
Channel Lightning Valley, Flicker Wisp, and Storm Striders.
yeah,
Storm Striders is just too good in a 20 health format.
yes,
A full extra turn is worth too much of your health bar.
yes. Because
That's it.
you do have to kind of look at the format in how much
It's balanced in CC cards.
it's CC cards, but you're a blitz health, and so the
Yeah.
quality of card actually just goes up, even if the numbers obviously
Yes.
don't change. Their number
Yes.
in relationship to your health, you have to think about damage. It's not you're dealing
Yeah, yeah.
4 damage;
Percentage.
you're dealing a fifth of their life.
Yes.
And in that sense, those boots skyrocket.
Storm
They're
Striders.
insane, right?
Storm
So,
Striders is twice as powerful, and it's already
yeah,
powerful in CC.
yes. If you can easily deal 9 arcane on their turn,
Yeah.
that is massive. So, yeah, get rid of
I
that.
still firmly believe
I don't
that
know.
Icelander could have
Yeah.
been 34 health on release and would have been still very good
Uh,
instead of 36.
Flicker was banned, Channel Lightning Valley banned, and that's just because
Yep.
this is something they probably
Random
at this
power
point
cards,
would have
Aurora.
done. They would have done at this point to Aurora in CC if they could probably.
They would have been Flicker Wisp.
No, I genuinely believe that this blitz is like the sign of, if we could go back, this is what we'd ban. They would have banned
Mhm.
Flicker Wisp and they would have banned Lightning Valley, is my opinion.
I don't think they would have banned CLV.
You don't think so?
No. So
Well, now it's gone
one,
and they
Flicker
banned it in
Wisp.
blitz.
So again, CLV is +1 card, which is worth more in Blitz
True.
than it is in CC. On top of that, Flicker Wisp makes getting Channel Lightning Valley easier because a package of 2 Arcane is more obnoxious to prevent than a package of 1.
And speaking of packages, and that nobody likes to talk about blitz, they also banned in CC Scepter of Pain, because that's a package of 4
Yes.
when combined with Broccoli. Channel the Millennium Tree, and that is bringing in AB3 and Florian
Yep.
that's miserable.
No, I think this is totally reasonable from them. This is them kind of simplifying the meta. I don't know. This might be a decent analogy for you. It's like they took the queens off the board for both sides.
Oh, frick. Oh my gosh.
They just simplified the game state.
See, the problem with that is, if that was actually chess, the problem with that is I feel like you cut off the ceiling a little bit,
Yeah.
which is fine.
I mean, you did.
Yeah.
You cut off the ceiling of rune chant stacking.
Yeah. I love
Um,
that.
Like that's the equivalent of what they're doing is they are simplifying the the meta for what Florian does and looks like, and you don't have to worry about it. Bringing in AB3, yeah, you're guessing AB3 versus Scepter, or not, or AB1 versus Sword, and you're just gambling. In reality, you're gambling, and half the time you can scout and figure out what they're on, but half the time you can't,
Oh.
and then it's just like a pain.
Tim bringing up that what if they just flip Sword if you brought AB3?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
sacked, upwards of like freaking 9 points of value on your equipment to for nothing. For like genuinely
Yes,
nothing.
correct. Yeah, that's what they're trying to avoid, and that's fine.
And
I'm okay with that.
as they brought up, and I think this is the most important part, like if they planned for Scepter to look like that with around
Yes.
amp and stuff like that, then that's probably fine. But they didn't, right? They made Scepter of Pain before they shipped amp specifically.
So I think they for sure did not plan Kraken's Aether Vein around any form of amp.
No, yeah, that was way long ago.
Or at most, amp 1 was on their mind.
Yeah.
I think Scepter, they were like, maybe we have amp 2, but like amp 1 with this is totally fine. Like maybe we have an arms that are like pay 1, amp 1 or something like that. And you can go that into Scepter and it makes chance. And it's one card, but they can like AB2 and it's fine.
It might have been something in someone's minds, but the words they used was, it was designed prior to the existence of amp. Maybe it was something they were thinking about.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't.
The play patterns did not bear out the way they wanted them
No. And for good reason.
which is why like this is very much in line with the Kraken's Aether Vein change in LL, and Kraken's Aether Vein I assume would have been banned before Rosetta release. If
100%.
for some reason Icelander hadn't rotated with Icelander or whatever, it would have also been gone. This is fine.
Yeah.
Germinate also goes with it for, I assume, very similar reasons of just like it kind of mindless, not mindless, but like
It's like
zero difficulty.
I thought of
Cons.
thought of it was it kind of reminds me of like Last Ditch Effort, except it's better, right? So Last Ditch Effort technically
Last Ditch Effort
is a
you
card
don't have to work for.
You don't have to work. Well, even Last Ditch Effort, you kind of don't super have to work for, in my opinion. You just like, but I don't think the ceiling on Last Ditch is necessarily high enough to win the game. This one is, and then also you can play it before you run out of cards in your deck.
Yes, no, like the condition for Last Ditch Effort for me, you have to work for it to get to the point where Last Ditch Effort is a real card where it does something. You have to get there, and that's not easy. Why is it just an Earth card not tied to a class? It could have been just an Earth Wizard card, and it would have been fine.
I want to argue. I want to argue the way he wrote that. I think in this specific sense, it being tied to Earth as opposed to tied to Wizard is more of like, well, one, I think flavor reasons compared to all the other channels, but then also I don't think there's a huge difference in talents and classes functionally. However, this card was made for Wizards in Earth. It probably shouldn't have been made for Runeblades in Earth or other heroes in Earth.
It got a little weird once Runeblades could play it.
Yeah. I mean, it's technically a card that interacts well with their pool, but not in the intended way, probably. So,
which also, it's still in Florian's pool, and it's still not a card you should be surprised at him playing, and it also has
Earth block 3,
so much less impact than it does without Scepter. It's like numerically just a way worse card without Scepter.
I still think there should be a generic piece of equipment that jump through hoops, deal 1 arcane damage. Like, pay 4, break it, deal 1 arcane.
That's not a hoop.
Is that not a hoop? Maybe a bigger
Is
hoop.
it an actioner or an instant?
An action. Maybe no go again. I think it would be interesting if any hero had the ability to access a single point of arcane damage once. That's a different discussion.
That is a different discussion.
That is a different
discussion. There's a lot of balancing that goes into
that. Where's Josh?
Nope, that's not his department.
Oh, true. So,
in addition to Germinate and Scepter being banned.
Oh, no, I was also going to say another reason Germinate was banned is things we don't know about. The inevitable demise of the future.
An hour.
Oh my gosh, it's so soon. Yes, yeah. So supposedly there's like a combo with Germinate and a card in the Hunted expansion slot.
Nope, not Hunted. High Seas.
High Seas expansion slot. I got one. The part I was question mark about was the part I got right. Other than that, there was another card banned.
There were two more. There was one more banned and one unbanned. There's
CYB.
2 cards addressed. Excuse me. Yes. I'm totally okay with this.
They promised. They didn't promise. They said maybe.
So here's what should have happened, and I think this has been addressed at some point, and I think it was the Push to Point episode with Brian Gottlieb that just came out like 2 days ago. Was CYB should have just been a class card, and it would have just been Earth or something like that, where it is much easier to balance, much easier to test for, and it is significantly less likely to affect your casual player experience, which is the primary reason they put forward to ban it, which is it just is not. So it's not interesting.
So there's 2 core reasons. Well, I disagree. There's 2 core philosophies behind banning it. The first one being, designing cards, and the other one being at the local armory. I think both of them make a lot of sense. I found in playing it a lot over the last, half month or whatever, since they announced, since rumors go around that CYB get fully banned, what I noticed is what it felt like is CYB acted in the same way that Looking for a Scrap does, in the sense that it's just a value card. That's all it is. Sure. It pads out the deck for value in the same way Wounded Bull, or okay, maybe not in the same way, but in the sense of I need to add value to this deck outside of I am doing a thing that is kind of busted. I need to add value to make sure I don't get behind. But instead of the value being damage presented, it's life gain, which ends up it throws a whole wrench.
It's just miserable.
It throws a whole wrench in the thing.
So it fundamentally changes the way the game feels for an individual. And it feels like you're not actually interacting with the other person when they play CYB.
Yeah.
I guess I should say, especially when they played all 9 copies of CYB.
I played more than one game in the last few weeks where I was above 40 life until the last turn, where I decided to no block so I can kill him. And I'd go down to 35 and win, and that felt amazing. But I'm sure that felt awful on the other side of the table.
Yeah. So the thing that really sold me on this card doesn't do what they wanted it to, is when you watch a CYB new mirror.
Oh no, I did not get the joy of getting to play against a mirror with CYB because no one else would bring it.
Neither of you dropped below 30.
You just play out all the cards in your deck at the rate in which you can rip the cards out of their deck. And
you are only measuring the rate at which you can activate your mask and activate new ability and have it hit.
Which is just as boring as a Phi mirror, because they don't care about deck size. They only care about life totals.
Sure.
Zing, got him.
In theory, that makes sense, but it doesn't feel the same because of the way they've set up attacking and blocking.
Yeah. No, I agree. It the way the game handles interaction, life gain, it doesn't feel the same, right?
Yes.
If you deal 4 to me and in response I gain 4 life, tactically it could matter. If like let's say the 4 was like 4, I don't know, Kodachi hits, then gaining 4 life is a better way to handle that. But like
yes.
And then like, you know, blocking obviously stops on hits. Like there's pros and cons, but also it just feels bad to just be like you're hitting a brick wall.
Yes. So like I think that's like I think that the biggest thing that they're leaning on is like the player experience is something that they just like the average player experience. I'll put it that way. Because it's not just the pro players like didn't care a ton once blue had been banned. Once blue was banned, CYB was like, it's a thing, it's there, but you can deal with it. The numbers aren't ridiculous. But still you're like average armory, and if we're gonna talk about this, I don't think it was you I was actually talking about, but like
What?
the supply chain issues that they've been having.
I think like, a little bit we talked about it.
Yeah, they affect Nats, but they also affect the local player.
Yes.
And the demand at Nats is not significantly affecting the local player. It's everything else that affects the demand for the local player. Or the supply for the local player.
No, we haven't specifically talked about this. But we've both been thinking about it, but we've not sat down and talked about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like this is not a ban for the pro level where it's like CYB wasn't a huge thing. You was doing fine. Nobody was bringing poison the well or anything like that. They were just playing their normal deck. You can hear Aurora, I'm pretty sure, was like mostly off poison the well. They might have one or two.
Cody was complaining that new wasn't even good.
Yeah, go ahead. This was not a pro level competitive targeted ban. This was a game experience ban. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
If this also makes testing for them significantly easier because they don't have to CYB proof every deck they put out and every other defensive card they put out, excellent. And also CYB, because like you mentioned, CYB gain 4, stopping 4 Kodachis is so much less taxing to your deck than putting 3 shelters in and having them have to line up.
I guess you could have
to stop Kodachis.
Sigil, but Sigil's a lot smaller.
That's fine.
It's 3 copies.
Yes.
It's
3 copies, total 9 health.
Mm-hmm.
Which is less than 3 red CYBs.
Yeah. It's also 3 life gained per card, which is often what I was thinking. It's like I'd gain 2 life off my first yellow, and I'd be like, okay, I know it's 2 right now, but it you know, it's 5. Like it's technically 5 in the grand scheme when I resolve them all. So
this is the thing that I think this is the thing that I actually know people underestimated when CYB first came out, which is
total health.
They're like, oh, the first one is just like 3, like you're getting like a 2 for 6 average.
You're gonna kill them before they play all of them.
Nah. Well, some decks did.
Some decks did.
They were like the most aggressive decks.
Yes.
They were insanely aggressive decks. But 2 for 6 life gain was not the thing.
Yeah.
It was 6 life gain per card.
It's a lot.
Deck. It's huge. It was more than we'd ever seen.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's like the best way I can think of it, like to visualize it, is say that you have in 9 copies in your deck of different colors that are paid to block 6. You always get your value on blocking 6. And in that sense, yeah, you guarantee block 6. And it just ends up like stacking so much. And that's the thing, is it's like the same kind of problem that Enigma did, where Enigma builds Snowball's Ward if you sit there and do nothing or don't do enough. It's not that you're doing nothing, it's you don't do enough. And so the life gain is kind of the same way. The life will stay there. It just sits there until you get rid of it.
Like it's the way that I want to put it is playing a CYB is the same as blocking. It does the same thing as blocking a CNC from Victor and is blocking 6 Kodachis from Katsu.
Yeah.
What card does that?
A CYB. 9 CYBs. Oh, but you have to have
pretty messed up.
You have to have
in its
9
original
in your
form,
deck.
I understand
Yeah.
it's now average 5 life gain per copy with where it was, but
so I do want to read this and kind of wrap up CYB, where Gnarly Gnome Games says that a large strength of getting new players in is you get that one game where I'm at 2 life and you're at 1 life and I kill you. And you may not be necessarily, you may be thinking, yeah, but you know, you're a whole turn cycle up on that other person. Yeah, but it looks really close and it feels really close and there's a lot of tension. And, you know, I got him down to 1 life, even though I did die. And that, I've literally had, I think it's like 5+ new players tell me, like, in their first few games of playing where they're just like, but I got you at 1. Dang it. Good game. Like, that is actually just a
like,
very
full
consistent
grip
thing.
And 4 points of armor left. Okay.
Brush over that. But CYB absolutely ruins that feeling. If I'm at 42 life and you win, that even if I'm at 22 life when I win, it's kind of a lot. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So
that is definitely a 100% different feeling, and I always laugh because it's like that's such a new player thing to say. Oh, I got them to 1, and I'm like, I had 4 cards in my hand when you got me to 1.
I haven't blocked with any equipment yet. Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yes.
But as a new player, that still feels really good.
Yeah, and it's almost like you can almost taste the victory in the sense, and I think that's an important thing. This is Coach William coming in, where it's like a good thing to do for newer players is to show them what victory looks like so they can try to replicate that. And you can kind of do that in Flesh and Blood too. I do want more life gain in Flesh and Blood in general. I want a lot more life gain in Flesh and Blood. But I don't necessarily mean 1 card is giving a lot of life. I want CYB, all of that life from CYB that got banned, to just be spread out amongst 100 other cards. Like that one card that says block 1, gain 3 life. That's coming out in high seat. That card's insane. I love it. But I don't think it's great, but
that's such
it's
a
so cool.
Well-designed 4-block.
Yeah, I love it.
It's so well designed. It's so well balanced because it's like you have to give another card to stop a 0 for 4 on hit. Get your 4 value out of that card.
So I was thinking about, like, what if, you know, it's Ira, they go Kodachi, and then they go CNC. You're blocking with 2 cards out of hand. Then that card you gain 3 life. You have 1 card in hand. Better make it count on your turn because you get the 1 card, right? So it's like, okay, sure, you used all your hand. You used all your hand. It was very efficient. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, you get 1 card in hand on your turn. You're not gaining tempo this turn cycle. And so I think that's really interesting.
To get your 4 value out of it.
And I think that's really interesting.
It's super well designed.
I love it. Yeah, there's another card banned.
Unbanned.
I can't get it past this guy. Bonds of Ancestry Red. Brian. Buddy.
No, it's okay. So here's the way this works. They're unbanning it because in Katsu having 3 of these is fine. It makes him like a playable deck, baby.
Okay.
It's fine because he doesn't have power to board.
I don't want him tier 1 or upper tier 2, but maybe that's me. That's probably a me thing.
No, I think that's so. I agree if Bonds is in his card, it is in his deck list. I will say there's a significant difference, and Runaways again pointed this out, between Bonds of Ancestry in Katsu and Bonds of Ancestry in Zen.
This is the Runaways stream 2. This is the second one podcast.
Yeah, this is the retweet. And it's that in Zen, you can tutor for whichever half you don't have. If you draw Bonds, you can tutor Descendant.
I love this. Nora in chat. I think it's the first time chatting or first time I remember chatting. They just put Bonds' cringe. I agree.
I agree. So in Zen, if you draw Bonds, you can tutor Descendant. If you draw Descendant, you can tutor Bonds. and Zen like gets around that. In Katsu, you basically have to be tutoring bonds, which is still very good. But you drawing bonds isn't good unless you've drawn Descendant or Surging. Which, like, if you just have Natty combo, whatever. Katsu's always been good when you draw Natty combo. But as Jordan said, they're just going to have to reban it at some point.
That sucks. That's a good point.
They have to reban it at some point. And they know that.
It quote unquote will probably restrict design space in Ninja. Which is something they talk about. They do not want cards that restrict design space.
Probably. You mean
So it's like, okay, so here's what's up is like Bonds with here's the one thing going for Bonds right now is Bonds with Zen felt like a value play that was way overstated. Bonds and Katsu, it's still pretty flavorful. The Dishonored line, I don't care what you say, Tim, it's kind of cool. If you get Dishonored, I think that's on you, bro. You have to take a ton of damage to not get Dishonored, but like this is their thing.
I think
they're gonna do their one thing this game, and if you block wrong or have to block a different way, like
to block Dishonor.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's the only thing they're gonna do that game.
Sure. Like I don't know. I think this banning is a mistake, and you should actually find a way to fix Katsu. Because if you're so here's the thing: they gave him a Majestic by unbanning this. You know how else they could have given him a Majestic?
A print one in the expansion slot.
An expansion slot. They just give him one that doesn't suck and isn't Bonds level. They
I mean,
a Majestic. And they just decided, nah, we'll phone it in and we'll put this old busted Majestic in.
I think that's a really good point. Now, I mean, okay, so the thing that obviously bans can happen at any time, and unbans, but I don't know. Yeah, but you can't print a card anytime, but you can ban or unban a card anytime, right? So if you want Katsu better right now, you can have him better right now.
Sure. If you want Katsu to be better, you can just put Bonds back in the deck. But that doesn't solve the problem, which is like that Katsu is bad without Bonds, and that Bonds is just a busted card. Like, you're just like, this is a crutch for them not fixing Katsu.
I think Katsu should be more of a toolkit deck instead of a one line deck.
That's
Imagine
the way that his hero power reads is like you have like Kadachi, Head Jab, 1-for-4, and you can like toolbox whatever.
You can do different
whereas
you can do different things after the. Let's say they don't block the Head Jab. Like maybe Head Jab is wrong. Let's say leg tap. And let's say they have like, I don't know, 10 for each of them. Let's say it's leg tap. Them blocking, nothing on a leg tap means you grab this card. Then blocking one card on leg tap means you grab this card. Then blocking 6 on a leg tap and then you razor reflex it means you get this card. And that sounds
here's what they need to be doing is they need to not be designing Bonds of Ancestry cards. They need to be designing Descendant Gustwave cards.
Are they kind of doing that? Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead.
No, they're not.
Okay. Yeah, fill me in.
Descendant Gustwave is when it combos off Surging Strike, is a 0-for-5 go again.
Yes.
But it's also a 1-for-3 starter.
It's pretty strong. It's like its own line and it's somebody else. Yeah, it's flexible.
It's flexible. How many of the Katsu cards that they've gotten since Outsiders, when they printed Descendant Gustwave, are that flexible?
Only the Katsu hero text.
Because what you're saying is they need to have cards that like combo off the Head Jab and cards that combo off the leg tap in their deck. But that means they also need to have those cards not be bad when you draw them. I think I'm Descendant Gustwave.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with them having only one line in their deck if their line has enough branching paths that it's interesting.
Only need to have one set of starters in their deck, I think, is the way you want to put it.
Yeah. Like leg
Because
taps
if it has branching
or
paths, it doesn't have one line.
yeah, you know what I mean. Yes. Like only like I don't want them. I think they also do not want head jabs and leg taps or surging strikes and head jabs. That feels bad because they're completely different trees.
Yes. Clark, if they gave you, so you're saying Be Like Water, which is you pay one to rename. If they did that at 1 for 4, that would actually be way better.
I was literally about to ask that. If they had a 1 for 4, that would be insane.
A 1 for 4 version of that where you pay one to rename it, or even just on hit rename it. I don't even know if you need to pay.
That makes me put Sink Below and Arsenal just for that. Like it is so big.
Oh yeah.
It's so huge.
Okay, but give it combo off Surging Strike.
No, we don't have to. No.
Well, that's the card.
That is what it. Yes.
That's the card Katsu actually needs. He doesn't need bonds. Make him a toolbox deck. Don't make him a Bonds of Ancestry deck. This is the same shit we said when Zen came out. Is like everyone's trying to make all the Tiger stuff work. And then I'm just like, okay, but Bonds of Ancestry is just the best thing a ninja can do when you can tutor combo.
I have not.
And then what happens? Evan Herndon wins U.S. Nationals with double Needle Zen that just breaks and 9 bonds.
Oh my gosh. I have not heard this man this passionate about anything in so long. Like even when he's like excitedly talking about Prism, he doesn't get this passionate because he's already thought through it so many times. Yes. Like this is so good.
What do you think I do at work?
This is so great. Think about Prism.
My notebook is at 85 pages of Prism notes. I thought through all of it.
What we're saying, Clark, is was it Clark? Yeah, we 100% agree. Yeah.
Yes.
Ban the card.
He needs more Descendant Gust Waves, not more Bonds of Ancestry.
We need Mastery. You know what? If Mastery Pack Ninja, Mastery Pack Ninja, Mastery Pack Guardian, Brute, Mastery Pack Warrior. Yeah,
Still
I think
won't fix Warrior.
Well, I just mean to say if all the Mastery Packs end up being the first 4 classes, not only feels flavorful, but I think it makes sense. You think about it.
It thinks Katsu's broken crazy. We got someone in our testing group that needs to sit down and have a conversation with you.
Just please. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I don't think he's wildly broken. I think he has a lot of holes in his plan, and then also his plan isn't actually broken.
A good card for an inconsistent deck that will still have flaws, and Bonds is still a card that shouldn't have been unbanned because it doesn't fix anything. 2, it's still messed up.
All right, okay, stay this passionate as we move on to the next thing. That's where the bans and unbans stop in CC. Not what anyone was expecting that I know of. Now, I was hearing a lot of crazy things that should also be banned that I'm not going to bring up. But specifically, there's a lot of people who's concerned about a specific deck, a specific ranger.
The things that were not banned.
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm heading to next.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Marlin. She's like the unofficial boogeyman. Everyone's scared mostly because maybe they don't know. Not in the sense of like we can't see it, but it's like this looks good. We don't have all the cards yet. We don't have the cards at all yet. It looks good.
So Death Dealer with Marlin ability is really good. And it's interesting because Marlin's ability reads so close to Riptide's, which is just like you do your normal thing, you get to put a card in Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Except Marlin's is when you draw a card, which means you're already breaking math in the thing you do, and then you get to cheat another resource.
Death Dealer are already kind of broken.
Death Dealer's very good.
Pay one resource.
It was just terrible.
Draw a card.
It says draw a card.
Rangers.
Turns out that's pretty freaking good.
The rest of Ranger could actually be good if Death Dealer Like, I feel like Death Dealer holds a lot of weight in Ranger, if that makes
Yes.
sense. It's
Oh my god,
it's
yes.
such a heavy card. It's so
Yes.
good.
Yeah, 100%. I think half of me thinks that they expected Azalea to rotate, or thought Azalea would be rotated before Marlin came out. Because the problem for Marlin is Death Dealer, which is consistent double load every turn.
Mm-hmm.
3 Oak
That's
is
insane.
not a huge issue. Plus, pretty much puts you on rate, yeah. Best arrow blue, base blue. Marlin would like to play Lexi cards instead of Marlin cards.
Everyone wants to play Lexi cards. They came out with these OP outsider arrows, 1 for 5 on hit, piss your opponent off, and then these 0 for 4s that are really, really good. And it's just like, what if these things that's their drawback is you have to like load them in Arsenal and shoot them out of Arsenal? What if that's just fully not a drawback? Also, draw cards.
Yeah,
It's insane.
draw an extra one.
Yeah, draw more. It's so good.
So I will say, I do owe an apology to Sealace Sarong, the Ranger leg piece from this set.
Okay.
Because I said it was bad last week.
Okay.
And they fully gave us... I did not expect them to set up the red, yellow, and blue harpoons the way they did, where they're all blue arrows. Those cards make it like...
Wait, are they all
make
blue?
that leg piece actually significantly better. For sure. It also makes the Ranger block significantly better, which I thought was kind of underwhelming at first, because I was like, the play patterns just don't support it. That is going to be very good in the Marlin deck. With that leg piece. It is significantly better than I gave it credit for.
Oh my gosh. I just assumed that the red fin, yellow fin, blue fins were kind of like in Outsiders. Yeah, Fletcher Redtail. I just thought it was like that. And that they were
Nope, they're all blue 2 for 4.
I thought they were all red 2 for 6s and then just changed color and that it would just be the one of each color. Are these going to be a cycle?
No.
Is it red, yellow, blue of each of these?
I don't think so.
Are they all blue then?
I think they're just all blue.
A cycle of all blue rares?
Yeah.
Attacks?
Which makes those Ranger legs significantly better.
Huh.
For sure. Yeah, they are a cycle of full blues. Like it is significantly better. I fully admit this.
I'll be honest.
But that was also, I put the caveat last week of, with the blue arrows we have at the time of recording, then it was bad.
You know what? No. I
Now we
take
have the blues that
I
actually
take no blame for this because I looked at the art and you had an opinion, and so I relinquished my opinion to you. So if you got that wrong, that's on you, not me.
Yeah, it's my fault.
It's my fault. I didn't read the cards.
Marlin, Endless Arrow and Marlin is fucked up.
It's so insane. It's so insane
because it's your free extra reload when you play Tri-Shot.
It's already broken.
To anyone playing against Death Dealer Marlin, block Endless Arrow. For the love of God, block Endless Arrow. I don't care what you have to sacrifice for.
Honestly, block all their arrows. Just block them all.
Literally just block Endless Arrow. And the occasional bolt and shot on their like Perch Grappler's turn or their Rapid Fire turn. Mm-hmm. But like if you block Endless Arrow, that does a lot.
You blame me? You know what? I blame me.
Blame William? Sure. I'll allow it.
What was I gonna say?
But yeah, there was no ban to Ranger. I assume that means they think that it is fine. We'll see. We've been having a decent amount of success with the Death Dealer Marlin deck. Not as much as like Goldfishing would say we have, which isn't too surprising. It is. The numbers look like Rainbow Bond Zen. It is not Rainbow Bond Zen. Rainbow Bond Zen had 7 armor that punished you for attacking.
That's also true. Yep.
This deck does not have that.
No. Its armor is like more of like a...
It doesn't block.
A fashion...
No. It
like
doesn't block.
It's like it's like a fashion statement in that sense. It's like
Yes.
showing off because you play it on the field and you have no intention of ever dragging it up to the combat chain unless you are required by God or
By your
James
life
White.
total.
Yeah, by your life total or a motorcycle. So it's
Correct.
it's not as egregious. It's still really strong. I am maybe nervous about the deck. The more I watch
I'm a little nervous about it.
the more I watch it, the less nervous I am, or less nervous I was than when I first saw it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Then when you first see the numbers,
you and you
nervous.
scream.
Our record is 62 on turn 2.
And it's no. We need to clarify this a little bit more. I saw a video the other day where they were talking about some busted numbers that they were able to get in Marlin, and they were finding like 40, and these were theoretical hands where they crafted the like top 20 cards of their deck. No. This is a random set of cards, and you are just playing off the top of your deck. However, into the data doll bot.
Into the data doll bot that doesn't block.
But 60 damage.
62.
62.
Yeah.
Holy frick.
Return Fire. I don't think Return Fire is that good in Azalea. I think it's not good in Azalea. I think it is good in exclusively Canon Marlin. This is the block card that you banish an arrow and then it goes into your arsenal with +3.
That's fine, right? You just
block 4 and give an arrow +3.
Yeah, that's fine in Azalea. Why wouldn't it be?
I think you don't have an arsenal slot as Azalea for loading that arrow.
True. No, her play patterns. I didn't think about that. I was just like, you play pumps. You go pumps, and then it's already a 7, and you'd have to change your whole mindset when you go turn to turn.
Yes.
Because it's a block card, you have to use it.
Yes. Yes. So TCG Talk. My issue with that card is that Azalea very often wants to end her turn with a card in arsenal so that she can Skullbone Crosswrap at the start of her turn to look for a dominate or to set up Death Dealer.
I think someone described it. Yeah, go ahead.
This is actively working against that play pattern. And yes, block 4 is still good, but Azalea dropping a 0-for-3 pump is a significant difference between 11 and 14 or 10 and 13. It's a significant difference to the deck. Especially like block 4. Azalea doesn't want to block 4. I think it's a Marlin card.
She wants to pump.
Yes. She just wants another 0-for-3 pump to put it at 13 or 14.
With its own on hit. With its own unique annoying.
Actually a 0-for-4. Now, the block card, very good as a 0-for-7.
Mm-hmm.
Go with what people have been doing lately with New Horizons Death Dealer lists. Aren't quite as common. Sure. The problem is New Horizons doesn't give you a slot unless the card is face up.
Yeah.
If you have a card face down, you don't have an arsenal slot.
I guess you run the
boots. If you have the legs, the new legs from High Seas.
But then you'd have to be arsenaling a blue arrow.
Which is bad. Like, great, you got a 0-for-7. You got a 3-card 9.
You also just still have a blue arrow in arsenal?
Yeah, a 3-card 9 is not good. It's worse than Azalea already does. Have to run Trench? You're still burning a card!
I feel like we're jumping through a lot of hoops just to...
You're jumping through so many.
Just to play a 0-for-7.
What you're actually doing is you're playing it in Marlin, where the boots and you have good, decent blue arrows
big
that
Marlin.
are not just 0-for-2s. You're playing it in Canon Marlin, and then it's like you can make it work, but the hoops are not irrelevant on this card, where it's not just a flat 0-for-7. I would say it's below a 0-for-5 on average.
Big
as a block card in Azalea is not enough.
Big Marlin versus wide Marlin. These
Go
have
Wide
to be
Marlin
the
wins.
names. No, I just mean to say like these have to be the names,
Yeah,
right? Big Marlin
Tall
and
Marlin and Wide
no,
Marlin.
Big Marlin and Wide Marlin.
Big? Sure.
All
Um,
right.
I'm going to step away for a second because I need to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay, that's fine. I can talk to chat. There's been a lot of you talking in chat, and I really appreciate it. I'm so excited that y'all have been on. It's already 9:00. Normally we'd wrap up at about this point, but instead we're staying on. We're very passionate about all of this. We're excited about the new cards that will be announced soon. Not announced necessarily. They're going to be opened in Taipei in just a couple of hours. And it's actually really refreshing to listen to all y'all give really spicy opinions and then also just like very passionate responses. This ban and restricted announcement along with updates to Living Legend points, which we haven't even gotten to yet, was insane. It was very exciting. We've enjoyed all of this conversation, and at the least, I'm so interested in Flesh and Blood right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so excited to see what's happening next. What does the next set look like? Despite all the setbacks that Flesh and Blood seem to be going through with distribution and whatever, the game itself is like super great right now. And having all these conversations, been having a lot of conversations on Bluesky and other places lately, and they've just been great, and everyone seems to be excited about the game. It all feels super great. Also, Living Legend. Just excited about Living Legend in general. The next thing we are going over is going to be the Living Legend points. And if you'd like to be on air talking to us about your hot take for the Living Legend points changes, points distribution, an update to Living Legends points distribution, you can join us. Does Clark have a take about that? Clark, I'm so sorry because we were already like halfway through Bonds, and I didn't know how much we were going to talk about it when you brought it up that you wanted to talk about it. But Clark, if you got something you want to talk about in relation to the Living Legend points, 100% will bring you on. Kevin's back. How was the bathroom? Don't answer that question. So we had an update to the Living Legends points. All I was saying while you were gone is how excited I am for Flesh and Blood right now. Because like even with all the like setback stuff or whatever like that we've been dealing with distribution and all sorts of other stuff, like I am just really excited for Flesh and Blood right now, and I think a lot of other people are too. Like the game feels super exciting, and we want to get through all these hurdles. We want to because we want to be playing the game, and the game is great. And I don't know.
It's going to take a little work.
I'm just gushing right now, but like, we had an update to Living Legends points.
Yes.
I think Clark has a take on it, maybe. But we'll go over the first part of it. We'll go over the concept, right? So. There will be two major changes to the Living Legends point distribution. The first one, I call this. It's major in the grand scheme of things. This really feels like a back end kind of thing that like nobody really is going to have to think about after this is said out loud. Is the fractional Living Legend points will now be kept track of in the gym back end, because the way they do it for some seasons is it's like you have a set amount of Living Legends points. You also have a set amount of events, and then it just gets divided up like that. And so that leads to fractional points. All that stuff's going to be loaded on the back end instead of like rounding up or down, which is what they did with the last system. That can get really hairy, right? You know, an event worth 3 points instead of 2.5. It can be
resulted
weird.
In 250 extra points this season.
I mean, I'm going to argue that that wasn't enough to change too much. I think everyone who LL'd would have LL'd, but not at the same speed.
Sure.
Like maybe it takes an extra week or 2 or 3, 4.
I think that matters over the course of a year.
Yes, 100%. And that's why this is actually a major change, even if it feels kind of minor, is because it would affect a lot. And then it also might be something weird like, you know, this season we're going to raise the points, and then we raised the points last season. Let's just round down this season, and it's like forget all. Just do it all in the back end. We don't need to see it all. It is going to be funny when people are like, "Oh, Prism just needs 25 more points to LL," and then it come to
it's 24.8.
Yeah. It's like, or like on the website, it shows she has 975, but that number is rounded up from what the backend number, which is 974.9. And then when it actually
Sure.
gains 25 for winning a battle hardened, it's
Oh,
999.9, which is not 1,000.
I imagine they just round down on the
Every
site
time.
then.
I assume they round down all the time then. Because you never want to round up because
No,
it would leave an implication that
yeah.
you could get to
No,
an
it would
LL.
only be on the site.
Mm-hmm.
It rounds down to the nearest whole point,
Mm-hmm.
but the back end keeps the percentage because there is no functional difference between 999 and 999.9.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just read a take, and it is wildly opposite from what I've heard a lot of other people say. So I'm excited about it. The other major update is that Living Legend points will be subject to multipliers that scale over a hero's lifespan, and I think that's what we're going to talk about. Do you want to bring in our caller?
Sure, I'll go grab him.
Sure. And I am going to write this note to my lovely wife. Actually, I'm just going to talk to her here on live on air. Rachel, we're going to go a little long because it's already 9 o'clock, and we have only gone over like 2/3 of what we were going to talk about.
Okay.
But I plan on staying up tonight because I'm going to be off work tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not off work tomorrow.
You're not off work tomorrow, so you'll get to work late in the morning because we're going to
No,
stay up tonight and
I'm
watch
already
One Piece.
going in early tomorrow.
You're going in early. Well, then get off late. Get off early.
Well, that's already under discussion.
That's great, actually.
It doesn't make it better, though.
No, it doesn't. But I appreciate your sacrifice. I'm gonna do this. I feel bad. I'm gonna do this. I appreciate your sacrifice for the show, and
Y'all better know how much I love him and how much he loves y'all.
thank you, Rachel.
Keep it under 30.
Oh, we'll keep it under something. And it looks like Kevin's trying to get our other caller on. If you want to be live on air talking to us about your hot take, just like the caller that we're trying to pull on, you can do that by clicking on the link in the description, join the Pit Against Call-In Show server on Discord, and then you can just put your take in, and we will hear you, and we will bring you on air. I assume that they were having audio issues, and that's why they're taking a while. Thank you again so much. I know she can't hear me. Thank you again so much to my wife for doing that. We'll keep him on curfew. No. The fans will all leave at a specific time. Oh, I'll tell her you said that. I appreciate that. Yeah, Rachel's great, and it's also just good having somebody who enjoys your hobbies. There's like certain hobbies that she's like really into that I also indulge in sometimes, and then there's hobbies like Flesh and Blood that I'm really into, and she plays Flesh and Blood sometimes, and it's really nice having that back and forth. Man, they are going at it in there. I have no idea what they're doing. Oh, there he is. We got Kevin. You missed it. Rachel was here for a second and telling me to get off the computer. We ultimately decided that I'm gonna stay up a little late because we're only like 2/3 of the way through what we wanted to talk about tonight. But also, it's like really exciting, big stuff. I'm okay with a longer episode.
Yep.
If you are, so we have a caller on the show. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Clark Moore again, calling from Cypress, California.
Our other co-host, along with TCG Talk.
Provided on if I can keep it going.
Yeah. What would you like to talk about?
I would like to talk about the Living Legend points. Specifically,
Yes.
my take is that the reduced points is a mistake, and it should only be the extra points after one full year.
That's
One to
so
two full years.
crazy.
Mm.
That's
Right.
so crazy.
Because,
Okay,
like,
tell me about it. Yeah.
The whole issue was Aurora, right?
Mhm,
That's like
mhm.
the whole thing
Mhm.
that's fresh in everybody's mind. But did we forget about Enigma, Zen? Did we forget about every other hero? Because
Yep.
like they were extremely frustrating to have in the meta, and people were not super happy with like how dominating they were, how they kept hanging around too.
Yep.
And if they got like half points for that entire, if Zen okay, maybe I was just specifically frustrated by this,
Okay.
but when they reduced the amount of living legend points per event going into Mistvale, it felt like they said, well, we just want these heroes to stick around for extra long. And now they're doing it again.
Mhm.
And if this
So,
was alive when Zin was massively like just running everything, then that would have been, oh my gosh, like how many points would he have had? Like maybe 300, 400 at the end of all of that? And then they ban, and then it's even slower, and we have to deal with Zen. I mean, they did get Zen to a healthier point eventually, but like
yes.
when something is dominant, we want it to run out. And when it's
Yeah.
new things, I think it creates a really strong negative feeling.
Yeah.
You should let
So,
them earn living legend points during that time, and then let them slow down as you balance the metagame.
yeah.
So I will say real quickly how absolutely hilarious it was for me to read your take in chat, because when I read it the first time, yeah, I'm dyslexic and read it the opposite way, and I was like, oh, it's what everyone else on Twitter is saying, and then like I read it a second time and I'm like, whoa, this is like literally the opposite of what I think 90% of people I've seen post on the internet, because a lot of people are like, you know what, slowing down LL points, that makes sense. Making them leave faster, that feels bad. And so it's so crazy to see the opposite take. And I think there's merits for that, what you've said, and for not changing it. Like they all have their pros and cons, some more than others. And I think this is it's really good to bring up. Like this is good conversation. What were you gonna say?
So, so I
Where you were gonna
I
start?
think it's
Yeah.
interesting because they're having the first year LL points now, which is effectively what they did when they changed Pro Tours to be 100 instead of 200 and PQs to be 3 instead of 5, which was the beginning of Zen in Mistvale. And that's what Clark is talking about. So they've already done this once
Yeah.
and they are doing it again. So I thought that was really kind of fun. And there's like, it's really concerning
Okay.
for me as well when they do this, because what this means is they have to have a much tighter grip on the ban list.
Yes.
And
100%.
because the flip side of this is what Armpit just said in chat is they're a license to keep printing overpowered heroes that can compete with the heroes that came out the set before,
Yup.
Yep.
instead of balancing the heroes that came out in the set before.
Mm-hmm.
And things start getting weird at that point with the
Mm-hmm.
half points.
Yeah,
So
and
you have to keep you I'm expecting that the ban list, and this is something that Brian has talked about, is that they're going to be more active with the ban list.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jordan
and we
has
won't.
just
They said,
echoed this.
yeah. They said they would be more active with the ban list, and I think a lot of people are out. I think what most people are concerned about is the actual, like, I know what they've said, and I know what we think they'll do, but like the actual mindset of the developers as they are like working on this, like how often they're going to ban things, what they're going to target on their bans. This is what people are concerned about, because they're concerned about how much does LSS feel needs to get banned at any given time? Like how heavy-handed will they actually be? How heavy-handed do they want to be?
Which half of this is relative to what they think the power of the next 3 sets are, because
Mm-hmm.
only they know that.
Yes.
But if they want this game to be healthy, they have to be
Yeah.
heavy-handed, because this is something they also
Yeah.
talked about, where it's like they didn't ban Flicker Wisp. If they could go back and do it again, they would. And is this, and there's a little thought in my head that is like, is this 0.5 multiplier them giving themselves a crutch where they feel like they can go do that because there's now time for them to nerf these decks, where it's not like Aurora's already at 800 going into the season and she's already there. Why would we ban something? It doesn't
Well,
matter.
yeah.
But But do they? If she's at 400, it's like, yeah, we need to ban something. Are they?
Here's where I
Are they
think
preemptively adjusting for balance that they can't anticipate
yeah.
to give them some leeway. Half of the balance they can't anticipate,
Yes.
and half of it they can. And they're giving themselves a little bit more leeway where they feel like they can justify banning something from a new deck.
So here's the specific situation where I think the 0.5 multiplier fits in. I think it actually does almost nothing in the sense of stopping a hero from specifically LLing. What it does is, let's say you go into a season, let's say it's a PQ season, and a hero is overtuned and LSS miss it. They don't get 700 points that season. I don't know how many you can get in a season. Like what a reasonable number a hero can get. 500?
400 is like high. That's like 400.
400? Okay, so they don't get 400 that season. They get 200 that season for the mistake. Then they can do a ban immediately afterwards and be like, frick, that wasn't supposed to happen. That I think is the only use case for the 0.5 multiplier that they should be considering. If they are considering this for an actual crutch for them to be like, let's let the players play it, because they've done this before, let's let the players play with Kraken's Aether Vein for a minute, that's a problem. I don't like it. But
it is a crutch.
Yeah.
I
If
think
they're going to be more heavy-handed with the bans, that is giving us what we want, right? It is, in essence, adjusting to the brand new things that are maybe a little overtuned or didn't interact in a way that they foresaw. That's what the bannings are supposed to do. They've essentially put a double stopgap in their process on this one specific issue when one or the other could have sufficed.
It could be correct. It could be correct for them to do this way. It could be that they are giving out too many LL points and they're just like halving it so that they get, because the system just moves too fast as it is. Because also I think like this PQ season had like 100 more PQs than the one before it, which is 300 more points than the one before it.
Yes.
Which means the system moves faster than before.
Yes.
Which means they have to be more aggressive with the bans anyways.
Yes.
Like, it could be correct for them to be doing this, but then it is still a crutch, and it can be correct for them to do this because of the system they've set up.
I think if they use this 0.5 multiplier as a crutch for when they break their leg, then it's great. But if it's because your foot hurts, that sucks. Right? And that's what I'm getting at, is if it's like, oh, we can just let it coast for I know that metaphor doesn't actually work very well, but like
no, it does.
Okay.
It should be used for Aurora and not Florian.
Yes, 100%, right? And so like,
because if Aurora is still here and is reasonably balanced without Flicker Wisp, she can still challenge Florian. But without Flicker Wisp, she doesn't just auto win like her Victor matchup or just like guarantee of 60%.
Yeah.
But they get time to do that, and the foot hurting is Florian, where suddenly you don't have your Aurora to deal with your Scepter builds.
Yes.
And the broken leg is Aurora, who is just running everything except for Enigma, who also just LLs. Because you have Enigma and Zen, and Enigma gets a ban somewhere. Zen gets Zen doesn't get another ban. He's good. But Enigma gets a ban somewhere, and Aurora gets a ban somewhere. And they're all down on this level where we have 4 decks of Zen, Aurora, Enigma, and Florian. That are all competing at that top slot once Viserai is left, because Viserai probably needs to go for design space. But he's in that 1.5x.
Yes. He's out.
And like, then it all works.
So I think
they give Aurora the Flicker Wisp ban, and they give Enigma a ban. I don't know where they put the ban on Enigma.
Mirror Guy.
Headpiece.
Maybe. I'm not 100%.
I think
it could be Mirror Guy. It could be.
Yeah, I think it's Headpiece, but anyways.
I think it's Traverse.
I think it's Traverse, but
fair, because honestly, it's when you block with Traverse to play Mirror Guy.
I think it's Traverse becomes hero restricted. where Enigma
Oh
can't play
no!
it.
Stop! All right, we're done with this. I hate this.
No.
I hate that so
Fine.
much. I hate that so much.
I think you kill Zen if you ban Traverse.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
You ban Chi.
All right. I also do want to coming back to the living legend points. I think it's also important to take a look at the 0.5 points through the lens of all the heroes. Do we really want Acilio earning 0.5 points for this year?
I think it's fine.
Verdance?
Sure.
Like, do we want them crawling through their first year?
Yeah. It's fine.
Think
They're crawling for their first year
inevitable
anyways.
with some number of heroes. Yeah, I think it like you can't have every hero showing up with like if all 4 of those heroes out of Rosetta had the same number of LL points, it would be a little weird. It would be a miracle of balancing. But I think so I think the issue is not on that 0.5. The issue then shows up when they're at the 1.5.
Yeah. Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, like I guess the current
Because-
thing that I guess we're all concerned about is like KO situation where like KO got too many points early and
Sure.
then he's gonna hit that 1.5 and then he's gonna be
Yep.
like snap gone.
Yeah.
And having the 0.5 on KO at the beginning would have kept him lower so that when the 1.5 rolls around
Yes.
later, you
It's
still feel like
Nah.
there's space
Balanced.
for him to go.
No.
So
The worst case scenario has to be like, freaking. I can't think of a better hero right now, but I'm gonna say Betsy, or a hero like Betsy, where it's like they do nothing and then they eventually get cards and they still slowly trickle out, but a little faster than expected, and then they disappear without ever having a big win.
I have an example of this.
Okay,
It's Azalea.
Mm.
Azalea's
Who did
had
nothing for 2.5. She did nothing for 2.5 years,
yeah,
and then Outsiders gets printed,
and then she explodes.
and then she would be gone in 3 months with the 1.5, or 6 months, let's say.
She kind of got her time in the sun then. I know it's only 3 months. It does feel
Yes,
kind of
but
bad.
She gets 6 months instead of a year at 0.5.
Hmm.
And this is like the asterisk I have on this system, which like
Couple Mil also
overall
talking
it is
about this.
healthier for the game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like New Prism spent 8 months without her actual weapon.
Yep. Yeah.
That is 8
Yeah.
months of 0.5 that she just missed for having a weapon that just like never really saw play. And then as soon as she gets the new weapon, she's a full deck.
Mhm.
And she gets 4 months of what would have been 0.5.
I think.
And like that to me feels like, and that is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Mhm.
And that's part of how this system is going to work.
Betsy's gonna miss hers
It's
when she
a
finally gets her
little-
caber.
Yeah, like if Betsy actually gets a good weapon, which is the log,
Yeah.
then it's
Or the
all
barrel.
going to be
I
at
don't care.
1x or 1.5x.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be at 1x if it's in the mastery pack. And then like like Aurora had her time in the sun of 7 months of being a top tier aggro deck.
Mhm.
Even when Viserai was still around and Zen was still around, Aurora was still a top tier aggro
She was
deck
fine. Yeah.
from release.
Yeah. Great.
So like the 1.5 is a little weird, and I understand why they do it. It's because it's like you can't like Reinar needs to go at some point so they can deal with Intimidate and make it
Yes.
a reasonable mechanic.
Yes.
Honestly, I think that's why the 1.5 is around. Is so that they can move a lot of these old designs out, keep heroes
Yes.
rotating. Not necessarily
No, that's-
intimidate
this-
specifically, but just allow modern flesh and blood
Yes.
to.
I think-
Intimidate is a symptom of the problem that they're trying to
So
cure. Or Reinar ability, I'll say.
I think
Levia too.
Yes, Levia
we
as
need
well.
a new Levia.
I think Levia is actually feels bad the most about all of this hero because she's not done anything flashy ever. And now she's going to be at
she
1.5
has
and
went along
she's
with it.
good enough to where she's going to keep getting LL points every season.
Yep.
And they'll all be 1.5 and none of it will be remarkable and she'll just glide through LL in mediocrity. Like Betsy's not getting LL points, so you don't have to worry. Betsy means Aaron, I'm talking to you. But like if you're playing Levia actually gets wins at PQs. Not like a ton, but like she gets them, right? Yeah, so she's going to LL eventually off of these 1.5 PQs, and that's going to feel the worst in my opinion. If she doesn't get a big calling win or a big, nationals
I don't
win.
think the 1.5 is going to make enough of an impact unless the hero is actually putting up a decent showing and are at least in like the mid tables of these. I think you're right. Like never getting a statement win is going to be a big issue for these.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that they had expressed not liking about Aurora. That in Aurora, I mean, Aurora won some callings, but Aurora never had that Pro Tour, never had that Worlds win. I'm just echoing what they said in the Dev Talk.
Sure.
And like that isn't going to be the case for these other 1.5 heroes, but I still don't think the 1.5 is going to make a difference in a reasonable amount of time, right? Like it will still take Levia 5 to 6 years of getting 50 points or win like 10 PQs to get there.
Yeah.
I'm still going to have her for 5 to 6 years, but if she does get good, then she will be gone quickly, and we can get a new Levia hero ability that they can design good new cards for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I have. You keep finished, and then I got some stuff.
I do want to touch on something Capomilla said, which is clock reset when they reprint a hero.
Okay, that was one of the things I was gonna bring up. Yeah,
which
that's kind of interesting. I like it.
Dust Till Dawn and Heavy Hitters are fundamentally different types of reprints in my mind. If in Heavy Hitters you're referring to more Reinhardt than KO, and Dust Till Dawn is new Prism and new Chain, quote unquote, which those are fundamentally different heroes, completely different, or not completely different card pools, but completely different decks and completely different play styles. The number of OG Prism players who play new Prism, or OG Prism players and new Prism players overlap about 5%, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I think they probably are still meaning like Levia, Levia Bolton, Rhinar, Azalea, Katsu. But I don't want any of these heroes to have their clocks reset. I don't think they want to reset any of those.
Reset to 0.5. No, they don't. That is not what they're looking for in the game, and I think that's also symbolized in their Count Your Blessings ban of we don't want to have to balance against this card again.
Yeah.
Like this is the hero side of that equation, where it's like. And it's funny because like we hear about like hero bloat and how this is going to help hero bloat in the 1.5x. It's like I agree, Clark. The 1.5x doesn't matter for most heroes. Interestingly, I think Prism Awakener of Soul is one of the few heroes it matters for.
Yeah, her KO.
KO not even yet. KO won't be until next February that he hits 1.5x.
True, but that's about the time we might start expecting another brute set.
Sure.
And and he just got an overload amount of points for being the quote unquote best hero during one of the most open metas ever. And so we're going to lose our consistent brute snap quick the moment that brute becomes viable again.
Well, that's fine. We'll just get another one.
Like KO just will get a chunk of points from when he hits that 1.5 mark. Prism just got like 130 LL points effectively from this change, which is a lot.
Yes.
Considering, because it's like, this is the flip side of like not having her real weapon for 8 months is like then the back end of it, she has that 1.5 Monarch 3. If they want to get rid of this Prism before Monarch 3, sure, fine. I understand. But
I want them to.
I don't know. Give me a better expansion slot if you're going to do that, please. Come on, man.
Prism, I'm a Monarch, man. Monarch Part 3. It's been about Prism the whole time.
All right, can I get some circumflux accents in chat going, please? And then the carrot symbol. It's like half the chat is people like, oh yeah, this guy above me, this guy above me. Agree. Okay, so I got a hypothetical and a hot take to go over quickly, and then I think we can wrap it up on that. So the hypothetical. This Worlds 2025.
Yes.
We got Michael Hamilton versus Pablo Pintor in the finals.
Sure.
Michael Hamilton's on Slippy.
Still.
Sure,
okay.
why not? For the sake of this argument, the heroes and players don't matter, but I like this line. It's Slippy versus OG Bravo. Don't ask me why. Winner.
I mean, Pablo loves
Pinboard's a
OG
beast.
Bravo.
How many LL points could be distributed to the winner of Worlds this year?
Oh yeah, so it's 0.5 on one side and then 1.5 on the other.
Yeah. It
So
is.
how many points do you
Yeah.
actually get for winning Worlds? Like flat. Let's say it's
well,
1x, 1x.
100 is
100?
the 1x, I believe.
So Slippy could get a whopping 50 points.
That changed, by the way, because it was 300.
Yes, that it was 300. You imagine if it was 300 and then the stakes they're playing for is 150 LL points. You know, the only thing they care about, not the
this
money
means
or
that they
anything. The
up
stakes
the
of
points.
LL points. 150 versus they could up the points maybe. And
Just a
then
tinge.
imagine 600. No, not 600. 450 for winning
Because
as
then
Bravo.
with the 1.5
Half your LL points.
landmark win.
If it was
once
300.
Once the 1.5 hero
Oh,
gets their
man.
big landmark win, their world, their pro tour,
Mhm.
their calling, because they're back in the meta, they get their nice big splashy win. Okay, there's the big injection of
Sure.
points that they're out for.
Sure, I think
But
that
PQs and
yeah.
RTNs stay low.
It's just is it going to be any kind of feel bad for viewers who play heroes to see
Oh.
that the fight in the finals is for either 50 points or 150 points? Is that wild? Like thoughts
might be a
thoughts
bit of a
about if that
feels bad.
happens? Yeah, is that a feels
And
bad?
it might be a feels bad.
Mhm.
It might be bad if someone like finds a hero, it does incredibly, wins, and everyone's like, I can't wait to play that hero, and it's like, well, they got too many points and they're gone now. And
Which
like that can be a feels bad.
Which I think they're like, you do mitigate a little bit because I think people do gravitate towards the more recent heroes in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably less. I think they gravitate towards new heroes less than LSS would like, but I think they do. But I think if Bravo gets 150 points, that's fine, and I think if Slippy gets 50 points, that's also fine. But I think that's because Slippy is not busted.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, like maybe this should only apply to PQs, RTNs, tier 2.
It could.
Tier 2.
That could honestly
Seasons.
be a really good balance.
Like if it only applied to seasons.
Because this is the thing
Oh.
that they've talked about with Aurora is she's the RTN and PQ queen.
Ah.
That's where she got all of her LL
They did
points,
hype
except
that
for,
up. I forgot about that.
Calling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
you can give her all the
there's so
points she
much-
earns at callings. She
That's-
earned that. She can have that. But like
If
PQs,
she gets 100 points out of that, sure.
I
fine.
like that.
But if they want to like adjust again the number of points that PQs and RTNs give, especially for those new heroes, and it can adjust, that helps adjust
like
the
that.
aggro decks. I think that's an interesting question.
Hey Josh,
and
if
really
you're listening,
deserves some discussion.
if you want to,
Yeah,
if
drop
you want
it
to,
out. If you're still in the
just
chat,
put that in their
Yeah.
ear. Like you don't have to like.
drop it in their drop it in the Slack chat if you can.
No. There's a suggestion box somewhere in there.
Oh,
right?
is
In
there?
Dominant's
I'm pretty
suggestion
sure.
box. Write it with your left hand.
Oh.
Or if you're left-handed, write it with your right hand. And then
Type
get
it out.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
Signed
Capo.
a friend.
Yeah,
That's
Capo, the seasons being back to back is like
Oh, it was rough.
It's
It's just
but it's also
how-
an artifact of the way you qualify for events
It's also
Yeah.
just like
because there's no reason for worlds.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I talked about this with somebody
Mhm.
because Runaways talked about this today, where it's like they want a qualifier season leading up to a major, and the problem is you have 4 majors in PT1, PT2, Worlds, and Nats, but Worlds doesn't have a qualifier season.
Everything is a qualifier for Worlds.
There's no qualifier, so we only have 3 qualifier seasons, which means we're going to have a chunk of time off.
Mm-hmm.
Which means some of it's going to feel like it's back to back to back.
And that's
which
also
which is actually
fine.
kind of nice, may I say?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
No, this is we're explaining it all, but we want this.
yeah.
I'm very okay with having a gap between Singapore and Worlds.
Yes.
Where I go to call
LSS
Kansas
wants
City,
that gap.
and
We
that's
want
fine.
that gap.
And then I take a month and a half off, and then we have PQ season into Worlds, and I'm totally okay.
It
That'll be
takes so
great.
much time.
Especially if that PQ season also has Living Legend in it.
Yeah. It also just takes a ton of time to like play the game and make content about the game. Now you also want me to compete? Man, like
Yeah.
I'm tired.
This man keep trying to sign me up for
I'm
every
so
event
tired.
he can. Okay. So
I'm
okay.
averaging 5 hours of sleep a night.
So
right?
I had a grand. Okay, the last thing I was going to talk about is the hot take that I have for this, which is it honestly it feels a little watered down at this point because I really liked that suggestion of apply these multipliers only to seasons, and that would be my current. I say fix. We haven't even seen it like play out yet, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, it's not even an issue yet, but
yeah,
It's the middle ground.
yeah. The other one I had was what if the 1x lasted longer than a year? If it's like, let's say the 0.5 lasted 6 months, or maybe the 1x lasts 2 years.
If the 1x was from 1 year after to 2.5 or 3, I'd be okay with that because that gives them the window to give Prism her new weapon, to give Betsy her new weapon, to give Vincent Cull.
yeah. If we look at the development period of LSS taking about a year,
Yes.
give them 1 year to find the right space and time to give the support, and then let that support exist while the players play with it.
Yep.
And then let them start to speed up. Then they can start pressing on the gas.
Yep.
I think that's
I'm okay
another
with that.
great little adjustment. This is a very solid system. I know I came in with a hot take of like the 0.5 is bad, but like this is a very solid adjustment to the Living Legend system. It's going to take more tweaks.
I think a more honest take could be the 0.5 could be dangerous, right? Where it's not like bad. It just it depends on how they. Well, yeah, I appreciate that so much. Well, no, that's one thing like I think about for these things is I want people to give hot takes, but then I also have to like after they give the hot take, okay, what are they trying to say? what is the real thing?
Yeah.
Thank you for the title. Now, what are we actually talking about?
Bright Lights waiting on 2 years for support minus Dio. Correct. Yes, Bright Lights is still waiting on support.
We're getting at this
Bright
season.
Lights, I think, is also
right now.
the outlier of that because Dio got insane support 1 year later.
I don't call it Bright Lights. I call it the Mechanologist Mastery Pack.
True.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a damn.
Also, actually, a quick
no,
take
there's only up.
Quick take a quick hot take while I get ready to leave you guys.
Yes.
Mastery Pack Guardian is going to be equally insular to Bright Lights. That's going to be a big problem, and people are not going to buy that set.
I agree.
I think they're really
all the Majestics they've shown us are Guardian on Guardian hate.
They really want.
No, those are rares.
Those are rares?
Yeah, those are rares.
Yeah, those are rares.
Okay, maybe the Majestics are actually good then.
Also, think about this.
There
they
are
have
Valda Majestics. That's what they've shown. They've shown us
at
Valda
least one
Majestic.
Valda Majestic.
There's
two.
There's Make 3 Seismic Surges is a Majestic?
Yeah. Oh, okay, the shield is legendary. I was saying that was a Majestic. And then there's
sure.
And then there's the block card. If you have 3 Seismic Surges, it's a blue block 5.
Meh. All right.
Blue block 5? What do you mean?
Meh.
I have 3 Seismic Surges. It's like a 2-card A.
Yeah, that's really good. What are we...
That is good. I could just play Wounded Bull.
Well,
no, because Wounded Bull requires a whole card to attack with. If I have Crush the Weak, that's a free 1-card 7 off of my 3 Seismic Surges, which lets me block with the 1 blue in my hand, so I can run a slightly lower blue count as a Guardian.
But you had to make 3 Seismic Surges.
Yeah, with my yellow instant from Arsenal.
So you're at a 4-card 15?
I stopped listening halfway through, not intentionally. I was looking something up, and now I'm lost.
3-card 15. 3-card 15.
3-card 15 is pretty good.
That's good. All right, you're there.
I got him, boys.
2-card Aegis Basic Aurora. You're not wrong about that. Three card 15 is good if you can get there. I'll allow that one.
I do think it's interesting that we got 6 for 10s at rare. I think that's kind of neat. I'm kind of assuming these don't come in blue.
No, they are. I'm pretty sure they're. I love that they've been doing these red locked cycles or these rare locked. Sorry,
they are coming out with
rares.
Yeah, because they're doing blue locked ones now.
Yeah.
They are coming out with more 6-power blues though. Not a lot, but and they're
Guardian.
That doesn't matter.
I'm
They have
Brute.
more than enough.
No. No one's Brute. Never heard of anyone who plays Brute.
Yeah.
Brute's a myth.
It's not a real class until they give us Heavy Hitters 2 or WTR3, however you want to call it.
KO's fine.
We're getting there.
Levy is
Sea
fine.
Legs is pretty nice for Brute.
That card's actually kind of cool.
I wanna pop
It's
off
like
on that
interaction.
card.
Yeah.
It's
I'll do it on my
cute
own
little card.
podcast.
Yeah.
I think the weight, just real quick, I think the weight of which feels bad. I don't want to say this, but I think the weight of Guardian Mastery Pack is on how good is Crack Shuffle play in single player and multiplayer, and how much does the fan base want to play it, which is the scary question that I'm scared of the answer for. I think that's like the entire set, right? Like the whole set is like, it's for Guardian players, and for casual players, how much casual can we get out of this?
Yeah.
And if it's not much, then it's not much, and that is scary. But I think LSS are in a spot where they feel like they can do this, so that's a good thing.
I mean, they've always had the issue of supplemental sets not really selling enough. Even though people will talk about how much they love Everfest or Dynasty's designs, how much they loved Crucible of War, it just doesn't sell the same way.
It's always taken like 2 years for the supplemental sets to
feel good,
recognized as how powerful they were.
Crucible was pretty great when it came out.
Crucible, like, because it was the third set, like maybe has a little bit of an asterisk on it.
Yeah.
But Everfest and Dynasty took a bit of time before to realize just how good they were.
Didn't
And
we got
I'm gonna
Swarming
say that-
Purple and like Starvo in that set?
So
Yeah, but-
ignoring Starvo, I think every class got a playable, like a mainstay Majestic.
Yeah,
In Everfest.
at least
Or
one.
something. Yeah.
Yes. Or more.
Or
Yes.
more.
Yeah,
or
the
more.
Blue Spectra was in Everfest.
Blue Spectra plus Miraging Metamorph.
Macho
was
Grande,
over
Thunderquake.
I'm going to pull it up because I like going through this every once in a while.
No, I mean Everfest was a good set, and it just took
It was
a
insane.
while to. There was some problems plaguing it. One of them is that you can't draft it. One of them is that they put the goddamn cold foil pots in it. One of them was.
Yeah. No, this set was insane. So it had, for Brood, it had Swing Big.
Oh gosh.
For Guardian,
Wild
it had
Ride.
Stalagmite.
Stalagmite.
Wild Ride and Bearfang.
Stalagmite was in Everfest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wild Ride and Bearfangs weren't cards yet in this set. Stalagmite was in there. Pulverize was in there. Thunderquake was in there. Macho Grande was in there. Pouncing Lynx was in there. 100 Winds line was in there with Winds.
Oh wow, yeah.
Blood on Her Hands, Slice and Dice, Blade Runner.
Those are all great.
In the
Oh my gosh.
Teclo Pounder, T-Bone.
Yeah.
Dreadbore, Battering Bolt, Rain Razors.
Rain
all in
Razors.
there.
Rain Razors was in there?
Yep.
Wow.
Vexing Quillhand, Runic Reclamation, Swarming Gloomveil, Revel and Runeblood, Runeblood Incantation, Shrill of Skullform,
Shrill.
Icelander's original release,
Shrimp of skull form.
Aether Wildfire,
Oh yeah.
the entirety
There's
of the
so
Kano
much
deck,
in that set.
Yeah.
Crown of Reflection, Miraging Metamorph, all the blue Spectra Auras, zero cost, which were the actual ones that made it busted. Skullcap reprint,
Everyone writing this down?
Arcane Lantern, This Round's on Me,
Arcane Lantern.
even bigger than that.
A part
and
of
then all
me,
the potions.
a part of me hates how
Like, there was
successful this
literally-
was, because I don't want to play non-draftable sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that. And I hope this crack
This
shuffle
set
play is
they're saying.
awesome.
There is a market for it though, because they just removed the limited formats from the Japanese packs for high seas.
They did.
So it's not like there isn't a world where we can get cheap collectible boxes that can have a lot of cards for a lot of different classes. It's not like that's impossible, but I think it is hard to figure out how to do that and make it desirable for the player base.
Yes, that's
It's
the
a
hard
product
part.
issue that they're still going to work on.
We as players are fickle and evil and hateful and not nice to their parents.
No, I think we just whine.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We're just
I
whining.
would like to address that they have power crept Seismic Stir by 3 points.
Oh no,
minimum.
Seismic Stir was a garbage card. It was always a garbage
It
card.
was a 2-cost go again, make 3 Seismic Surges, and they just put a 0-cost instant yellow, make 3 Seismic Surges.
Yeah,
in Guardian Master.
I think that one is like slightly pushed, and I think the other one was just like scared to print Seismic Surges when I don't think they needed to be.
Yes.
I don't know. Guardian was really good back then,
Agreed.
and was like a boogeyman. So,
Right.
but I think we have
Yes,
talked
Winds of
long
Eternity with
enough.
100 wins.
I think we've
Yeah,
talked
I
long
gotta-
enough.
Go record my other podcast.
Oh, that's fine. I guess if you have
also, the
to.
World premiere is live.
Oh, is it live right now?
It is live. We're
right.
in deck build.
Well, thank you so much. Oh gosh. Well, thank you so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out?
My podcast, Pitch It To Me podcast, we just did an episode with Kevin. It just came out. It is doing great. Kevin, I don't know if you knew this. It's already at like 900 views.
Buh!
I didn't know it was at that much. Last I checked, it was at like 200.
Did you shout out?
Dude,
Did he shout out his
shot up,
channel?
like one day after.
Did he shout out his channel in that?
I'm pretty sure.
Pitch It To Me podcast?
No, in the episode he was in, did he shout out Kevin's YouTube channel?
He shouted out both his own channel and this channel.
Oh my
and
gosh.
This show specifically.
Great. Jeez, I
We
would
did
have,
the
you
whole
know,
gambit.
I would have had to take his pay for this month otherwise. Anything else you want to shout out?
All 0 of it.
All 0 of it.
You guys for continuing to be awesome and provide conversation that is both balanced and fun and discusses things that isn't just how be good at game.
Aw, thank you. We love and appreciate you. We'll catch you next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, catch you next time.
Heck yes.
Bye.
And for everyone else, you don't need to be as handsome and beautiful as Mr. Clark. You can come on and just like, we don't even have his face on screen right now. You can just come on and join us by putting your hot take in whatever to come on the show. This was such good conversation. And if you were listening to this now in podcast form or on YouTube afterwards, then I want you to know that, thank you. I appreciate that. And if you ever get the chance to watch us live, even when we don't have callers, the chat has been blowing up this whole time. People have a lot of opinions about this stuff, and it's great getting to hear them.
Or if you have a take, message one of us on whatever platform you can find us on.
Get in contact with us in any way at all. You could do the thing that Arsenal Pass talks about, where you give Kevin a letter whenever he's at every event that he goes to.
If you have a take that you want us to address and you see me in Vegas at Nats or in Singapore at the PT and you hand it to me on a piece of paper, I will make sure it.
If he's sitting down
the
at the
next
table playing Prism, his mind is somewhere else and can easily be occupied by your attention. So please interrupt him in his games.
It will end up in my backpack, but it will end up
and on
here
air.
the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess I'm not going to give Kevin room for shout outs. No, I am. You got a video coming out soon.
It will probably be Saturday morning or Saturday at like noon.
Love you,
that it
Darth
comes out.
Prentice.
It got a little bit delayed, but it's probably a little bit longer than, or not a little bit longer. It's taking a little bit more work than I thought it would.
Well, that's good.
But Yeah.
Uh,
Slowing down a touch as I run out of topics to talk about.
heck yes. And I think that's fine. But we're wrapping this up quickly because we also want to go see the freaking world premiere.
World premiere.
So
they're in deck build right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. We do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. and then on Saturdays, I think this Saturday, we're going to be doing the design. Yeah, we're going to be doing the design table at 1 p.m. Me and Amy, we do art that's Flesh and Blood related if you want to check that out. And I think that's it. Do you have anything else?
Probably not doing this the week of Nats.
Oh, yes, we are probably not doing this the week. So we're skipping next week? That's next week, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, we're not doing it. Whatever the week
Next.
Nationals is coming up on, Kevin will be out of town. And unless I can convince him to do it from his hotel room.
This is world premiere.
Yeah.
Next week is pre-release.
Oh, pre-releases
after
between.
is-
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So, you can look forward to a break from us. See y'all later. Bye.